The NFL on Fox from Miami, FLA. Dolphins won the coin toss, deferred. That's been the trend, so we'll see Sam Bradford and the Rams on offense first. Steve Smith, inactive the last couple of games, Tim, is in for the injured Danny Amendola as the slot receiver.
Yeah, Austin Pettis absolutely needs to step up, and I think Steve Smith is going to factor in as well as the third wide receiver. This offensive line, they've gotten their bearings, Chris, over the last couple of games, especially in the pass protection department. Very tough matchup against Miami's front four today at the line of scrimmage.
Dan Carpenter will kick off, and Chris Gibbons, the speedball rookie receiver, who caught a 52-yard touchdown pass last week, the longest of Sam Bradford's career, is back to return for the Rams. Rams trying to get to 4-2. Dolphins trying to get to 3-3. And game 6 for these two teams is happening. It's Gibbons from the goal line. Push back at the 20. Good special teams by Miami. And the Dolphin defense, we touched on how good they are against the run, allowing just over 61 yards per game on the ground, 2.7 a carry.
And their pass rush is also heated up over the last couple of games. Last two, Cameron Wake with 5.5 sacks. He is a sack specialist. Linebackers, Kevin Burnett hurt his ankle Friday at practice, so we'll keep our eye on him today. Very good group of three. And then out in the secondary, those safeties, I'll tell you, you put on the tape, they're young, but they are certainly coming into their own. Two good players in Clemens and Jones.
Steven Jackson carries and powers for about 5 yards. Richard Marshall again out at corner with that back injury from Miami in the secondary, with Nolan Carroll sliding over there, and Steven Jackson at age 29 still carrying the load for the Rams, although not as much from start to finish.
Well, I tell you, and just studying these guys, I'm trying to figure out who they are. They only have 7 offensive touchdowns. It's always been, for the last several years, a Steven Jackson football team. Not anymore. Daryl Richardson, the tailback, is getting his touches.
And he checks in. They call it their version of thunder and lightning. A lot of Richardson in the first half and Jackson to finish. And there's the rookie from Abilene Christian, a 7th-round draft pick, who's in Dolphin territory and sprinting down the sideline inside the Miami 30-yard line. There's a little thunder and lightning on this unpredictable weather day.
Well, this rookie has absolutely got some juice. This is one of their staple plays now. Block down with the tight end, pull the tackle, Barry Richardson. Watch his kick-out block on Koamisi, number 55. Bang, right there. Opens up a big alleyway, gets some nice blocks down the field for the wide receivers, and then you see from the wide receivers, and then you see the juice right there and the speed from Daryl Richardson.
A 44-yard pickup marked at the 31 of the Dolphins, and this time Jackson comes back in and gets it down near the 25-yard line. And you talk about the top team against the run and the rookie 7th-round draft pick between him and Jackson. You know, if they're thunder and lightning, that offensive line is smoke and mirrors, the way they put that together.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of guys that were, heck, not even on the team at the start of the season, including Quinn Ojanaka, some backups. They've gotten it together, though, Chris, over the last couple of games. The band of brothers starting to play together.
2nd down 5. Jackson remains the back. Field a bit damp. Bradford's throw and open, juggling it and incomplete. Brandon Gibson should have made the catch.
He was juggling that as he stepped out of bounds. He did end up catching it, but not before he stepped out of bounds, and he did not have possession there yet.
It'll bring up a 3rd down. That 44-yard run by Richardson, the longest run against this Dolphin defense this year.
Well, they had only given up one of 20-plus yards. That was last week. And it was to that same side of the field. It was an outside run by Cincinnati to the left side of the defense, like we just saw from the Rams.
Sam Bradford in the pocket and goes down. Cameron Wake at Koamisi collapse on the Ram quarterback.
Sam Bradford just holds the ball too long here. I mean, and they're sending pressure now. There's 5 guys coming. Sam wanted to unload it to what looked like an out route. You can't hold the ball for more than 3 seconds with Cameron Wake, number 91, right there coming off the edge. I mean, he has got a nonstop motor, and he's just going to keep going after the quarterback.
So the rookie kicker, Greg Zuerlein, to try a 48-yard field goal. 13 out of 13 so far this year. And he just keeps on trucking. 10 out of 10 from beyond 40 yards. The rookie kicker delivers, and the Rams strike first with a 3-0 lead here in Miami. Along with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and there is the rookie kicker, Greg Zuerlein, who continues to add to his NFL record, starting his career with 14 consecutive field goals.
Has he earned a nickname yet? That's my question for you.
He's got quite a few, and we'll hear him throughout the game. Marcus Thigpen from the Dolphin end zone. Swarmed under before he got to the 19-yard line. Yeah, Greg Zuerlein, I call him Greg the Leg. Young Jeezy, as we'll find. There's a few more that we will watch.
Jeezy.
And they're trying to come up with a nickname for Ryan Tannehill. They hope that he is the franchise quarterback, although this is just his 6th NFL start after 19 at the quarterback position in college.
Yeah, and Reggie Bush is going to have to get it going now. Last couple of games for Reggie, and he's dealing with the knee, just over 3 yards a carry. Those two offensive tackles, in particular the rookie, big matchup against those Rams defensive ends today.
Hey, Rocco. Go.
Tannehill on first down, a little behind the receiver, but Devon Best makes the catch. Miami thin at wide receiver. Hartline and Best the starters, and the Ram defense, given how their secondary is played, should hold the advantage as the Dolphins hurry to the line after a gain of 3. Talked about an up-tempo approach here.
Well, and that's really a big part of Ryan Tannehill being able to understand it. Is this is his offense from college, so he's well ahead of most rookies in calling the game at the line of scrimmage.
Correction, gain is 7, so it's second down 3.
Go.
Incomplete. Looked like Quentin Michael from his safety spot.
And the Rams love to send pressure off the edge with their safeties, and Quentin Michael just reads the quarterback, and as soon as that left hand comes off that non-throwing hand, he goes up and gets in the throwing lane and gets a bat down and forces third down.
Reggie Bush in the slot. Brian Hartline at the bottom of your screen on third down.
Yeah, there's Reggie. I told you that was going to happen today with their lack of a third wide receiver.
You want to bear? Fight down.
There's the matchup they want right there. Devon Best on Craig Dolph.
Go.
Pass is complete. Devon Best with a first down right on cue. And Tannehill has a lot of freedom to change plays at the line of scrimmage for a rookie.
And you know, that's what Reggie Bush does in the slot. They put Finnegan, the nickel corner, on him on the other side, which really now isolates this matchup for the rookie quarterback Ryan Tannehill. He's got a very accomplished receiver in Devon Best against a marginal safety in coverage in Craig Dolph. Good matchup. Expect him to hit it all day.
They hurry to the line after a gain of 11 from the 36-yard line. Reggie Bush. And Reggie all the way up to the 45 of Miami. Reggie came in averaging 4.8 yards a carry.
And this is the Reggie they're looking for. The north and south Reggie Bush. Straight downhill into the middle of the defense. I'll tell you the key right there is the ex-Ram, Kendall Langford, did not play run defense. Kendall Langford, number 98, the left defensive tackle, was rushing the passer. He got too far upfield and got caught, and Reggie Bush creased him with a 9-yard run.
Reggie in the slot as a receiver on second down 1.
Go.
Tannehill goes down to the arms of Chris Long. His 4th sack of the year.
There's Chris, 91, coming off the edge. Look at that inside move, just right past Jonathan Martin. He had a fan protection offensively, which means the whole offensive line fans to the outside, which put Chris Long on the offensive guard. Chris ran right by him.
55 right here.
Third down 6 for the Dolphins from the 40.
You want a 55, Richard?
Rams will show a lot of pressure with these guys up the line of scrimmage, and then they'll bail out in coverage.
Go.
Ryan Tannehill, the pass complete, but slipping on the turf is Devon Best. The natural grass here no longer shared with baseball. And it'll be 4th down. They had a college game here, University of Miami and North Carolina yesterday, and of course some off and on rain, but now the sun is peeking through. Brandon Fields, 4th in the NFL in punting, out for Miami. They trail 3-0. And back to return, Janoris Jenkins. Number no, Danny Amendola, who's out for at least a few more weeks. We'll update that throughout the game. The rookie inside the Rams' 6-yard line. And the ball's out and rolls out of bounds. John Denny knocked the ball loose after a 52-yard punt that Janoris Jenkins couldn't hang on to.
Maybe the last time we see him returning punts.
Jeff Fisher said the first thing I look for is ball security.
Absolutely.
Then decision making, then running.
Well, two things. All three were bad that time. Decision making was bad at the start. He took it inside the 10-yard line. Then he didn't run very well with it. Went sideways and then lost the football. See if Jeff puts him back out there.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
Scenery in South Beach. That's not the only thing turning heads. The play of the Dolphins and the Rams this season.
Heck, the Dolphins could be 4-1. I mean, they're 2-3, lost 2 games in overtime.
And the Rams lost a tough one to open at Detroit. They're still bugged about. Steven Jackson carries, tries to break one tackle, but won't break that one. In the arms of Jared Odrick.
We talked about the guys who get it started. Watch the defensive tackle 94, Randy Starks. And look at the penetration. Anytime a team wants to run that little zone play, and you've got to get penetration as a defensive lineman, Randy Starks has done that virtually every game this year. He's the one that forced that tackle for loss.
Second down, 13. Rams at their own 5-yard line. Pass is complete. That is Chris Gibbons. It'll bring up 3rd down.
And this is really, I mean, it's critical that they get a first down here and move out a little bit. Even if they end up punting, they've got to get some field position back that they lost on the Janoris Jenkins fumble on the punt return. This game is going to be so critical in terms of hidden yardage and field position because of how good both defenses are.
They need 5 for a first down. Steven Jackson splits out as a receiver to the bottom of your screen.
Man coverage across the board.
Time for Bradford, who goes underneath and completes to Austin Pettis, who gets a Ram first down. And a big first down in that field position game you just referred to.
And Chris, you really need to ask yourself, if you're a Rams fan, can we replace Danny Amendola in the slot? Well, this is a Danny Amendola route. And he's just going to go inside and then pivot back to the outside. That's really what Danny Amendola has done for the last several years here with the St. Louis Rams. Good job there by Austin Pettis, getting some separation against the corner, Jimmy Wilson.
And Pettis working on his uniform. Darrell Richardson checks back in. He had the 44-yard run to set up the only scoring in this game. Bradford has it. And going for Gibbons. Chris Gibbons racing inside the 15 of Miami. Rashad Jones made up ground and saved the touchdown.
Well, Miami was thinking run the whole way. There's one wide receiver on the field, and that's Chris Gibbons. You got 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and look at him get vertical right in between the 2 safeties on the post route. Sam Bradford is doing an exceptional job, Chris, throwing the deep ball, and he's going to do it 4 or 5 times in this game.
A 65-yard gain, longest pass play of the season for the Rams. And Bradford had his most complete game in his NFL career earlier this year in a win over the Redskins. From the 11-yard line of Miami.
Steve Smith on the linebacker in the slot there.
Underneath and incomplete for Jackson. Kevin Burnett on the coverage. Miami punted deep into Ram territory. The Rams from their own 6-yard line and have moved it all the way to the 11 of the Dolphins.
What a momentum changer. I mean, all the field position and the momentum at that point was with Miami. The Austin Pettis catch, though, for the first down really set it up for them to be able to take the shot deep.
Darrell Richardson the back. Pressure coming, picked up, he floats it out, it's bobbled, and hit hard at the 14, Chris Clemens, forcing a third down.
Well, number one, it's not a terrific throw by Sam Bradford, and it's going to end up being behind Darrell Richardson. You'd love to get it out in front of him so he can run. He's got to reach back for it just a little bit, and then the rally tackling by Chris Clemens and Carlos Dansby.
They lost yardage, so it's 3rd and 13, 14 for a touchdown. Rookie Brian Quick splits out to the right, 2 receivers on the left.
Miami loves to send pressure down here.
Bradford, end zone, nothing. Austin Pettis was in the neighborhood, but the Dolphin defense stalls the Ram drive. So here comes the rookie kicker, Greg Zuerlein. Jeff Fisher, his team has moved the ball against Joe Philbin's defense, but only a field goal made and a field goal try. This will be 32 yards. He hit from 48 a little bit earlier in the quarter. He is as money as a kicker can be. 15 out of 15 to start his NFL career, and it helps the Rams build a 6-0 lead here in Miami.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. By Pizza Hut. Make it great. And by Lowe's. Lowe's. Never stop improving.
Here in South Florida, Greg Zuerlein has provided all the points, a couple of field goals. Rams with some impressive drives here in this opening quarter against the Dolphins' stifling defense, but not able to get into the end zone.
Well, that's been a problem, Chris, all year. They've only got 7 touchdowns in the first 5 games.
Marcus Thigpen watches the ball skip through the end zone. Dolphins will take over on offense. You'll get to know Ryan Tannehill just a little bit more. 6'4" rookie from Big Spring, Texas, and Texas A&M. Taking over here in a moment. Ryan Tannehill, the rookie, leading this Dolphin offense, was a wide receiver at Texas A&M, but stayed in the quarterback meetings. Actually led them in receptions, and then moved as a junior to quarterback. His second game threw for 449 yards. Always believed he would be a quarterback. Drafted with the 8th overall pick by Miami, and now starting in the National Football League.
28! Go, go!
From the 20 on first down, Reggie Bush has nowhere to go. And will lose 5 yards plus.
Well, the Rams defense, it's got to start with the front side defensive tackle. Look, Miami loves to run to the tight end side, and they are hoping Michael Brockers, the first-round pick, has an impact, and he did right there. Really forced Reggie Bush to reverse direction and become that east-west Reggie Bush, and then Chris Long and the rest of the defense were able to catch up with him. Brockers only in his 3rd game back, Chris, coming off a high ankle sprain for the first-round pick.
So the pressure on Tannehill here, completing 57% of his passes. On 2nd and 15, he'll go to Reggie Bush. He's going to try to slip a tackle, and does. Gets positive yardage. It'll bring up 3rd down.
You talk about Tannehill's athleticism and being a wide receiver. I think it's pretty amazing that you don't win the quarterback job. And Stephen McGee was the quarterback at Texas A&M. And he said, I don't want to sit on the bench. I'll go play some wide receiver. 3 days later, he's in the starting lineup. I mean, that's impressive.
And said it's an advantage having played receiver, now quarterback, because he understands where the openings are in a defense a little bit better. Lamar Miller checks it at running back, the rookie from the University of Miami, on 3rd and 7.
Go.
Here comes the blitz. Pass is hauled in, but short of the first down by the third receiver, Marlon Moore. And Miami forced to punt.
Well, and that's an all-out blitz from Jeff Fisher and the St. Louis Rams, and forcing the ball out quick from Ryan Tannehill. The Rams send 7 players after the quarterback. Ryan Tannehill's got to get it out quick, and the Rams were ready to rally up and make a tackle before the first down stick.
Brandon Fields to punt. You asked the question, would Jeff Fisher stay with his rookie return man after the shaky return last time? And Jenkins remains out there standing at the 30-yard line. The Rams flipped the field in terms of field position last time. And this a liner. So we'll send Jenkins inside the 15. Janoris Jenkins has room. There's a flag on the field at the 30-yard line, and he goes down short of the 34. Gene Steratard crew, our referee, one of the most respected.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 56. 10-yard penalty. First down, St. Louis. Timeout.
That's Josh Hull.
And it's right there.
So after a 57-yard punt and a 19-yard return, the Rams will be backed up on offense. Dolphin defense, we mentioned, allowing only 61 yards for an entire game. Already the Rams have 51 on the ground. From the 18-yard line, that's Darrell Richardson. Running outside, right out across the 20-yard line. Sean Smith coming up from his corner spot.
I love play repeaters, and that's exactly what Brian Schottenheimer did there. That was the big one they had on the long run early in the game with Darrell Richardson, the outside power, blocking down with the tight ends, and Coach Schottenheimer went right back to it.
Son of Marty Schottenheimer, former head coach. In fact, we have quite a few assistant coaches, 3 other ones on the Rams staff that are sons of former or current head coaches, including Jeff Fisher's son, Brandon.
Again, same formation we saw earlier, going 1 wide receiver on the field. This time they run it.
The other way with Richardson, who fights hard for a first down across the 30-yard line. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break. Kurt?
All right, another big run going on, this time for the Cowboys at Baltimore. Felix Jones, 22 yards out. They had to review it because they initially called him out. On review, he scored a touchdown. Cowboys have the lead 7-3 on Jones' first touchdown since opening weekend 2011. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Good matchup there. Of course, America's game of the week after this. Many of you will see the 49ers and Giants. After a gain of 11, Sam Bradford on first down. And open for a first down catch, Chris Gibbons. The rookies of Gibbons and Richardson have helped the Rams move the ball successfully tonight.
And the second-year player, Austin Pettis, has certainly played a role in some of the nice plays. He had the big catch for the first down on third down, and then that time he was the guy that chopped down the defensive end that's supposed to be the guy to keep Sam Bradford in the pocket. It allowed Sam to get out and deliver a strike to Gibbons. 12-yard pickup, fresh set of downs. Rams have dug out of the hole from their own 43, leading 6-0. Richardson powering forward. Darrell Richardson, you know, they drafted Isaiah Pete in the second round from Cincinnati behind Steven Jackson. Richardson, Steve Kaiser, one of the regional scouts, kept telling him, we got to watch this guy, from Abilene Christian, and they were watching video during the draft and said, we don't think we can sign him as a free agent, we better draft him. And during the draft, a tornado hit, and they had to leave the room and seek safety position at the Ram headquarters. And then when the 7th round came, they said, you know what, we just better go for Richardson whether we have time for more film or not. And so far, he has been the go-to guy in relief of Steven Jackson. Bradford's throw again for Gibbons, and knocked away, incomplete. Kevin Burnett on the coverage. This ball came out of Sam's hand a little bit funny. You're going to see it wobbling. It's not a real tight spiral. It's got some wobble on it, which forced it to be, I think, just a tad bit underthrown. And because of that, the linebacker, Burnett, never even found the ball, but read the eyes of the receiver and got his arms up in the catching basket of the receiver and was able to get a pass breakup.
3rd and 4.
Boy, Burnett can run. You see him stride for stride with Gibbons.
Roger. Go.
Blitz coming. Bradford's pass goes nowhere. Cameron Wake was on Richardson and took any option away for Sam Bradford. So with 10 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter, the Rams will be forced to punt.
That was just football intelligence and smarts by Miami on defense. You heard a rocket call from the St. Louis Rams at the line of scrimmage, which a lot of times means slide the protection to the right. R for rocket, slide it to the right. They slid everything to the right, and Cameron Wake just peeled off with the running back.
Part of the Ram rookie tandem. Here's the punter, Johnny Hecker, who has thrown a touchdown pass this year. Who's also roughed up some people on coverage teams and set a gross yardage record against Arizona last time out. Pressure on there, but he gets it away high. And Devon Best at the 15-yard line. Part of our Foxtoberfest the rest of the afternoon. Giants and 49ers. Some will see the Vikings and Robert Griffin III and the Redskins. And then St. Louis fans are going crazy. The Cardinals are back in the National League Championship Series, and they'll play out in San Francisco. So leave it on Fox all afternoon. Football, postseason baseball, all part of Foxtoberfest.
I'll tell you, Chris, unless something crazy happens here, a great illustration of the groove that the Rams defense is in. They haven't given up a touchdown now in 8 quarters.
That's Lamar Miller and a flag on the back end of the play. Miami unable to mount a drive so far against this Ram defense.
Well, think about that. Jeff Fisher, the head coach, defensive background. We covered the Rams enough last year to know that they were porous at best defensively. No touchdowns in the last 8 quarters against that defense. That's a statement.
Holding. Offense number 68. Half the distance to the goal. First down. Timeout.
The call against one-time Ram Richie Incognito, as one Ram player called him a bully. The Rams have bullied their way to a 6-0 first quarter lead and will continue the NFL on Fox from Miami in a moment. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, start of the second quarter on 1st and 17. Here comes a flag as Reggie Bush carries.
They're going to get St. Louis here, it looks like.
Offside. Defense number 96. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Backup defensive lineman Kellen Hurd called for the violation. There's Joe Philbin, head coach of the Dolphins. First time an NFL head coach. In the first quarter numbers, the rushing yards for the Rams. That's what has allowed them to set up a couple of field goals.
Yeah, they have taken the #1 run defense in the NFL by a pretty good margin now, the Miami Dolphins, and have slammed that football right into their face.
There's some confusion about what was 1st and 17 after the penalty.
The game clock operator, please set the game clock to 14 minutes, 54 seconds. 14:54 on the game clock, please. Thank you.
And also resetting the clock. So now it is 1st down and 12 following the penalty, and the clock has been adjusted. Dolphin offense is yet to get anything going. Reggie Bush. Dancing and out of bounds. It'll bring up 3rd down. Expect that 2nd down after the penalty. So they will cut into some yardage. Reggie Bush, who made it clear he wants to lead the NFL in rushing at some point and help his team win, but said the reason he said it is because he felt like here, getting this opportunity, this is a place he could really do it.
Well, had a red-hot start to the season. Since that knee injury, though, against the Jets, Chris has not been the same. And to his own admission, said he's been thinking about it and thinking too much about the knee injury. He just got to hit it up inside.
Pass is incomplete, thrown a little behind Devon Best. And Reggie Bush, because of all those runs, has not been active in the receiving game as much. There is a flag down at the 10-yard line.
Well, as much spread as they run, the Miami Dolphins, and getting 4 and 5 guys out in the pattern, Reggie has got to be a bigger part of the passing game. He's the best in the business at catching the ball out of the backfield, period.
Especially with that limited 3rd receiver.
Absolutely.
A rocky start in terms of flags to the second quarter here.
Illegal use of the hands. Stay there. Hands to the face. Offense number 77. That penalty is declined. Third down.
They called it on Jake Long.
Yeah, and there's Jake. Not so sure though that's not on Richie Incognito. They were both up to the face, both of them. Incognito had Kellen Hurd, and Jake Long had his hands all up in the face mask of Robert Quinn. They could have got either one of them.
3rd and 8. An important field position down.
Go.
In this 6-0 game. Underneath, that's Reggie Bush. And he fights for the first down. Reggie came into the game. There's a flag down back inside the 10.
Holding. Offense number 77. Half the distance to the goal. Third down.
Jake Long, another penalty called on successive downs. It'll wipe out a first down gain.
And there's Jake there at left tackle. He's going to be all alone out there with Robert Quinn, who's really coming off an outstanding performance. That's not a hold. That is a bad call, in my opinion. Robert Quinn just lost his balance. You know, that's what the good offensive tackles do. You get an edge on them, they're just going to jump on your back and force you to fall down. It was actually a good job by Jake Long.
Now 3rd and 16. Underneath, that's Anthony Fasano, but short of the first down. So the Rams, and there's a penalty flag down in late.
There's the bully Incognito. And that's just stupid. In a field position game that we talked about, you can't come up with post-snap penalties like this after the play.
Coaching staff telling us about Incognito.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 68. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Fourth down.
His coaches have said if the play goes 8 seconds, he's going to 10, and if it goes 10, he's going to 12, and that's always dangerous.
Look, most offensive linemen, guys that I played against, love to push and do a little something extra after the whistle, but this is absolutely uncalled for. He actually takes out his own guy, Jonathan Martin, by trying to be a bully after the play's over.
So Brandon Fields now is back in his own end zone after the penalty. Janoris Jenkins standing at the Ram 41-yard line. A strong kick from Fields. Jenkins can't handle it inside the 30. And a good move like that will help Miami flip the field just a bit. A 63-yard punt with no return. But the Ram defense does its job. They have the lead. They have the football.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac, the standard of the world. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by Bank of America.
Here in South Florida, Jeff Fisher, first-year head coach of the Rams after time in Tennessee and a year off. Remember, the Dolphins interviewed him. Then he went to St. Louis and took the job, and it opened the way for Joe Philbin in Miami. Bradford has it and keeps it and slides across the 35-yard line. Sam Bradford played a national championship game here for Oklahoma and didn't like thinking about it.
Doesn't have good memories against that game, in that game against Florida.
The Florida Gators beat him up, but hoping to create positive memories here after an 8-yard gain. Came in with 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, completing 57% of his passes. Steven Jackson with the first down carry. He's outside, powering his way to the 48-yard line of the Rams.
When you play a 240-pound beast like Steven Jackson at running back, and we talk to the Miami players, you've got to tackle his hips. You can't tackle him up high. Really allow Steven to pick up the extra yards. Carlos Dansby told us, he says you got to get down on his hips and stop his legs from pumping or you got no chance.
It's a good change of pace between him and the rookie Daryl Richardson. After the 12-yard gain, Jackson powered straight ahead just short of midfield. And let's check in on the Falcons and Patrick O'Neal. Thanks a lot, Patrick. And yes, Atlanta, one of 2 unbeatens remaining in the NFL. The Texans, the other. And Steven Jackson bottled up this time. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Did you see the last 2 plays on Steven Jackson? Both times tackled near the line of scrimmage. Both times the defenders were down near his hips. And Olivier Vernon, you're going to see him right there wrap up the hips and get the big back to the ground. And that's where his core is. That's where all his power is, Steven Jackson. And that's the aiming point for the tacklers today.
Vernon, the 3rd-round draft pick from the University of Miami on 3rd and 8.
Roger.
Bradford will run for the 1st down and get out of bounds near the 31-yard line of the Dolphins.
I think Sam Bradford, Chris, knew he was going to run that before the ball was snapped. And he surveys the back end of the defense. He sees man under 2 deep, which is man coverage underneath with 2 safeties playing deep not to give up the big play, and he knows he's got a running lane, and he exploits it.
He was listed on the injury report Friday with a knee problem, told us, hey, it's okay, and that 21-yard gain, the longest run in his NFL career.
A real opportunity in this game for Sam Bradford to make a big statement. Without his best receiver, jury's still out on Sam as the #1 overall pick, and this team hasn't won 2 consecutive games or 3 consecutive games since 06.
Floating down the sideline and knocked away. He was trying to get it to Brian Quick, and there is a flag.
Illegal use of the hands of the face, offense, number 69, 10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
Gene Steratore catches Quinn Ojanaka, the left guard. Remember, this Ram offensive line made up with backups and guys who have been cut and brought back.
And Ojanaka being one of those guys on the inside and just gets his hands all up in the grill of the defensive tackle. You know, that's 2 underthrown deep balls from Sam Bradford, and he has got an outstanding ball. Numbers to the sideline deep. Today he's been a little bit short on his last 2 opportunities.
Both Steven Jackson and Isaiah Peed are in the backfield on 1st and 20. The pitch. That's Isaiah Peed, the 2nd-round pick from Cincinnati. His first carry in a game as an NFL player. He's been used on special teams plays. Rams opened the season with a tough loss at Detroit, beat the Redskins at home, then lost on the road at Chicago, then beat Seattle and Arizona at home, trying to win a road game.
Yeah, think of those last 4 defenses they've played, including today.
Steven Jackson inside the 30 and powering down near the 25-yard line. A healthy chunk of yardage to make 3rd down a little bit easier for this offense.
Well, a very nice block from the fullback, Britt Miller. You know, not a lot of teams play with a fullback as much anymore. The St. Louis Rams do, and he's going to end up squaring up right there on Trusnick in the hole. Bang, which opens it up for Steven Jackson to pick up a few extra yards.
Britt Miller came in with a sore ankle, special teams captain, and delivered there. So now 3rd and 6 already in field goal range.
See if they work the slot again with Austin Pettis out there. That's Lance Kendrick, excuse me.
And Bradford is thrown down at the 35-yard line by Vernon. Hello, Miami. Sam is like, where did he come from?
Well, he came unblocked, and it was because of the pressure look Miami was showing up on the inside. Like Quinn Ojanaka squeezed down to pick up Rashad Jones right there. He squeezes down. Now Vernon's going to come unblocked right through the hole.
Greg Zuerlein, a 52-yard try. He's 10 of 10 from beyond 40. You know by now he's made his first 15 kicks in his career. And this one, outdoors, in the breeze, and the first miss of his pro career. The string is snapped, and the folks in Miami like it. And the sack had a lot to do with it.
Well, what a huge sack by Vernon. push him back, make it a longer kick. How does Zierlein respond mentally now?
Greg Zierlein said, I don't think when I kick out there, you don't want to overthink anything, but he has nothing to be ashamed of, missing from 52 outdoors. The first miss of his career. Remember, he made a 56-yarder in Chicago. That's a Soldier Field record. Dolphins have it, trailing 6-0. And Tannehill goes down. The swarming Ram defense led by Jolan Dunbar from his linebacker spot. Remember, they're coming off a 9-sack game against Arizona.
And they keep 8 guys in protection here. I mean, they've got them all in. There was only a 2-man route, 2 guys out in the route. And there's Quentin Michael again coming off the edge as a blitzer from his safety position. And then Dunbar with his speed is able to finish him off.
It seems like there's no downfield threat for the Dolphins. And where's Brian Hartline? Leading receiver with over 500 receiving yards. No catches so far. From the pocket underneath to Fasano. And the tight end is rumbling.
You know, you ask about where are the wide receivers. These corners are pretty good for the St. Louis Rams, and Cortland Finnegan, who's out there on Hartline, and then Janoris Jenkins on the other side. Everyone knows how good Cortland Finnegan is. Look at another hit on Ryan Tannehill, but I don't think people really anticipated how good Janoris Jenkins would be right out of the gate here in his rookie year. He is having a super season.
13-yard pickup, so from the 48-yard line of Miami. Pass is caught by Devon Bass, trying to circle his way for a first down, and he has it in Ram territory.
This guy has been a third down machine since he's been with the Miami Dolphins. I always like guys out of college programs, and Devon Bass was at Hawaii, and they catch about 1 million balls there in their college career. And it shows. I mean, he's very good hands. He reads coverages as he did there. Just runs a shallow crossing route under the linebackers in zone coverage and able to pick up the first down.
Dolphins' best drive of the day from the 46. Tannehill rolling out, and open is Marlon Moore inside the 35 of the Rams. And let's check in with Kurt Benavides for a game break.
Well, the Colts' Andrew Luck was picked off for a pick 6 by Antonio Cromartie, but it was called back due to a penalty. That's okay. The interception counted. Sean Green made it a touchdown, and the Jets have a 14-3 lead over the Colts in the second quarter. Chris and Tim?
Thank you, Kurt. Of course, Andrew Luck drafted first, then Robert Griffin III, and the 8th overall pick, Ryan Tannehill, third quarterback taken. As he hands off to Marlon Moore, there is a flag down as he goes out of bounds. Rams may have jumped.
Offside. Defense number 96. 5-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Go, go!
Kellen Hurd, free agent pickup from Buffalo.
That's twice on him today. Pretty good trade for a young rookie quarterback. That hard count by Ryan Tannehill.
Reggie Bush trying to run inside. Can't move very far. You know, the coaching staff talk about Tannehill. They said he's very athletic, Ryan Tannehill, but also smart. You tell him something once, and you don't have to tell him again. He corrects it.
Yeah, he's a self-corrector, and you love that. I mean, you really do. And I think what Mike Sherman told us was pretty amazing. And he's been with him from his days at Texas A&M. There's Coach Sherman there, the offensive coordinator. He said he has never seen a guy just in the last 3 weeks grow and improve as a quarterback like Ryan Tannehill has done just in the last 3 games.
Coming off his best game of the year, according to Mike Sherman. Tannehill wide open is Marlon Moore, and that's a Dolphin touchdown.
Janoris Jenkins is thinking, look where his eyes are, clearly into the backfield, and Marlon Moore just runs right by him.
A 29-yard touchdown toss, the third of Tannehill's career. And with this extra point, after all that's gone on, the Dolphins have the lead over the visiting Rams.
Yeah, how about that dude Marlon Moore? No catches coming into the game today as the third wide receiver. He's got 2 in the game, one of them for a touchdown.
We have a flag down on the extra point try.
Legal use of the hands. Hands to the face. Defense, number 43. The PAT is good. The 5-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Timeout.
And you could hear the wind blowing in the microphone of our referee, Gene Steratore. The Dolphins have a 1-point lead over the Rams.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac, the standard of the world.
Dolphins trying to burst the Rams bubble here in windy South Florida. Rams trying to win their 3rd straight. The Dolphins are trying to get to 500. Marlon Moore hauling in the touchdown pass, and Tannehill 11 of 13 for over 100 yards already. After the penalty, moving up to kickoff, and it's grabbed and knocked down inside the 10-yard line by Britt Miller. And the ball is loose.
Looks like Pettis ended up with it. That's a mistake by Britt Miller. You got to let that ball go over your head. You're a fullback. Let the returners get it.
And we have an injured Dolphin at the 15-yard line. And Miami has the football. Coming up with it, Marcus Thigpen. I don't know how he did. And Vernon, the injured Dolphin.
Well, look at already how loose Britt Miller's carrying that ball away from his body. There is the shot that knocks it out. And then it looked like Pettis had it at the bottom of the pile, and Thigpen apparently pulled it away from him.
And remember, because of the penalty on the Rams, the Dolphins kicked from the 40 and were able to squib it, and they come up with the loose football. First turnover of the game, Britt Miller's fumble recovered by Thigpen. Dolphins have it from the 25-yard line. Here's Tannehill. And drops. Devon Best should have caught the football. Do want to mention that who recovers it in the pile is not reviewable. There was a scramble and the Dolphins came up with it, and Olivier Vernon, who had his first NFL sack in this game, was helped off the field. He was the injured player.
Wow, and he had a big series. The last series, he ended up with a big sack on Sam Bradford, and also had a couple of nice tackles.
Second down from the 25. Breeze is kicking up a bit. Brian Hartline to the top of your screen has not caught a pass today. Reggie Bush. It'll be third down. Let's check in for a game break with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, you guys have a couple of versatile running backs in your game, but here's another one. Ray Rice of the Ravens. Out of the backfield, takes this reception, 43 yards, goes out of bounds, but later on, he took it in with a 1-yard touchdown run. Ravens and Cowboys all even at 10 in the second quarter. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. The Cowboys fighting to improve on their record. The Ravens leading in the AFC North.
And the Ravens simply don't lose at home. Cowboys can get that done. It'll be a big statement.
Third down here after the turnover. Incomplete. Anthony Fasano was standing at the 25-yard line. Field goal try. Miami can add to its 1-point advantage. Dan Carpenter is 6 out of 10. He's missed 2 from beyond 50. But Dolphin fans will tell you, if he made some of the kicks you expect him to make, they might be 4-1 instead of 2-3. This will be from 42 yards. Wind blowing in his face. He nailed it. After trailing 6-0, the Dolphins take advantage of the fumble and lead 10-6. Well, we expected a defensive struggle between the Dolphins and the Rams, and the kickers playing an important role so far with a couple of field goals and one miss from Zuerlein and Carpenter's kick. Miami has the advantage, the only touchdown of the game. Tannehill to Marlon Moore. Chris Gibbons back to return with 4:19 to play before the half.
Good job by the defense coming in, sudden change right after the big fumble on the kick return and only hold Miami to a field goal. Costly error by Britt Miller even trying to field that ball.
This kick sails through the end zone. No chance for Gibbons. We come out to the 20-yard line where the Rams will take over on offense. Well, I think one of the storylines today was the defense of both of these teams, but it's our first look up close at Ryan Tannehill, and he has handled things even after a slow start.
Well, he's been impressive. I mean, what he does at the line of scrimmage, we know St. Louis gets after the quarterback. He's 11 of 15 in this game and threw his third touchdown pass to a wide open Marlon Moore down the sideline. So I've been impressed with him. Sam
Bradford, who ran for some yardage to help the Rams, is set up to throw and dumps it off near the 30 to Lance Kendricks, who's tight end. Nickel defensive back Brandon Fletcher for the Rams has a stinger and is questionable for the remainder of this game. We'll get an update on Vernon for Miami as well.
And I'll tell you when it happened. It was on the Devon Best crossing route, or excuse me, on the bootleg where Devon Best dropped it. Bradley Fletcher came up, put the stick on him right after he dropped it, and that's where he got his neck.
From the 30-yard line on first down, inside handoff to Steven Jackson, who gets about 4. Kevin Burnett, playing on that sore ankle, made the tackle.
Well, you got to like the commitment to the run game from the St. Louis Rams, and they got it going with the big pop Chris early to Daryl Richardson to the outside, and they're pretty much have had their success at the edges running away from those defensive tackles.
Well, the turnover hurt the Rams, and then, of course, being able to get it into the end zone for Miami, something the Rams have been unable to do in this game. On second down, that's Brandon Gibson, who puts a move on and has a first down near midfield. Gibson came in with 13 catches and a couple of touchdowns.
And does a very good job of just reading the off coverage, putting the brakes on, and running the comeback back to the ball. Nice little move there on Smith, but he's got to look at him change hands now. He's going to have to put that football away, get it tighter to his body in terms of ball security, or I promise you one of those Dolphins is going to knock it out.
Just short of their own 49-yard line, trailing by 4, and we have a flag.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That is on the veteran Harvey Dahl, the right guard. 6 penalties in this game for the Rams. That backs him up, so it's 1st and 15. Rams can't afford to fool around in the NFC West. The 49ers have just 1 loss. The Cardinals have just 1 loss. And the Seahawks rapidly improving as well. Bradford from the pocket open, and Brandon Gibson with a first down catch right near the Miami 40-yard line.
Well, we talk about Sam Bradford, and he reads this, and it's going to run the deep out. But watch the arm strength and the delivery of this football. I mean, right when Brandon Gibson puts the brakes on, heads to the comeback to the outside, that ball is already in the air, tight spiral with velocity. That's why Sam Bradford was the #1 overall pick. I mean, he has got elite skill sets. That big throw to the outside just showed it.
Gain of 16. It's a first down at the Miami 40. We've reached the 2-minute warning here in South Florida. The Dolphins lead the Rams 10-6, but St. Louis is on the move. Well, the Rams inside of 2 minutes of either half are the second best scoring team this year in the NFL, right behind the Lions. They have all 3 of their timeouts from the 40 of Miami.
Which means their whole playbook is still open, even at 2 minutes.
Steven Jackson. And he fights hard to get extra yards. This is the side of the field where Zerline missed his 52-yard field goal. Brian Schottenheimer looking for balance and getting it.
Yeah, does he ever. 15 runs, 16 passes. And again, love the commitment to the run game coming in. Miami, the best by far at defending the run. The Rams have hit him with a couple of nice ones.
On 2nd down 6, the quick pass is caught by Gibson for a first down, and well in field goal range now. As the clock continues to run, again, each team with all 3 of its timeouts. There is Zerline.
Well, and a good job by Sam Bradford, because here comes the pressure right here. And watch Sam, he's just going to unload it right to the blitz beater, which was Brandon Gibson, versus that blitz, able to pick up the first down.
Hey, Drew Bruce. Tag. Tag.
Steven Jackson clapping his hands, and he got the football. There goes Steven Jackson. Here comes a flag late at the 12-yard line, and he gets down inside the 20.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Matthew Mulligan, the tight end, out on the edge on Cameron Wake, is what it looked like from up here.
Holding. Offense. Number 82. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Anytime it's out on the edge and it does get the run game opened up, they're going to call it. I mean, look at him. He just wraps him up under his pads. And not bad. I mean, you can start with your hands outside the frame of the body if you're a blocker on offense, but you've got to immediately pull it out and relocate your hands to the inside. Mulligan didn't do that.
7 penalties on the Rams, so now they're back at the 37 of Miami. And Darrell Richardson checks in at running back. On 1st and 20. Bradford better get rid of it, and does. He was looking for Austin Bennett. Bradford now 10 out of 16 so far, 146 yards in the game. It'll be 2nd and 20. Right now you're looking at a 55-yard field goal, something that the Rams probably would try even in outdoor conditions because you're nearing the end of the half, but it would depend on how much time is on the clock. Zerline has made a 60-yarder already in his career and a 58-yarder. It came in the same game, an NFL record. For Lance Kendricks. And what a job hanging on to the football inside the Miami 15-yard line, and the Rams are going to use a timeout.
What a throw from Sam Bradford. This was tight coverage now with Lance Kendricks. Kevin Burnett's going to peel in coverage, number 56. And look at him. I mean, he is right there on Lance Kendricks, flips his head to locate the football, and just can't come up with it quick enough because that ball was a laser in terms of its velocity. That is a great throw. And a great throw, Chris, always beats good coverage.
And Lance Kendricks, the second-year player from Wisconsin, wanted to work on, they called it his frame of catching. And it was a small frame, but he came up with the football.
Well, and he's been a disappointment as a second-round pick, and he has no problem getting open. He's got no problem, as a blocker and then running away from defenders in pass coverage. He just had a problem with drops.
So a fresh set of downs from the 14 of Miami. Brian Schottenheimer wants to dial up something that'll get him into the end zone. Something they've been unable to do today despite moving the football on this tough Dolphin defense.
Adam! Hey, Adam! Bob! Roger!
Look for Pettis again down here.
He's on the right side. Bradford is out of the pocket and on the run. Here comes a flag, and he gets rid of the football.
Yeah, and they're going to push him back further. It looks like a hold on Randy Starks. It's going to move him back.
Starks is having a tremendous year. Played for Jeff Fisher at Tennessee.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Offense. Number 69. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Second call on Ojanaka today.
And Randy Starks has been an impact player in this game. Number 94 right there, the defensive lineman. And When you see him get to an edge, most defensive linemen, especially tackles, they want to work right down the middle of an offensive lineman. The good pass rushers get right to an edge of the offensive lineman, the way Randy Starks was able to do there.
From the 24-yard line, 2 timeouts remaining. Daryl Richardson will run with the football and get inside the 20. And the Rams are going to use their second timeout. Jeff Fisher will have 1 remaining. Visa halftime report is coming up. Some wild games. Baltimore leading Dallas. The Raiders on top of Atlanta. In fact, let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we'll have highlights from a busy Week 6, including the Falcons looking to go to 6-0 as they host the Raiders. But it may not be that easy. Matt Ryan picked off twice in the first quarter. Plus, Andrew Luck takes his first trip to New York to take on the Jets. It's all coming up on the Visa halftime. See you then.
Kurt, we look forward to that. All the highlights and stats, the fantasy numbers you need to know. And folks in St. Louis, it's a big day for you. Rams. And tonight, the Cardinals open the best-of-7 NLCS in San Francisco.
Chris, I think if you're the Rams right here, you got to take a shot into the end zone. You're already close enough. I think you feel comfortable for your kicker. You do have a timeout left. Take a shot into the end zone. Try to score a touchdown.
Bob. Hey, look at 10. Look at 10.
Bradford end zone incomplete for Gibson. It was way high.
He had him.
13 seconds remain. Rams with 1 timeout. It's 3rd down.
Well, and now because of the incomplete pass, look at all that open space underneath. Looked like the defender right in the throwing lane, though, for Sam Bradford. He didn't want to risk it down here in the red zone throwing an interception, so he just lofted it out of the end zone. I think Jimmy Wilson right in the throwing lane may have forced him to make that decision. Try it again. Take another shot. You got a timeout left.
Pressure coming. Bradford running. Throw is incomplete. Jimmy Wilson in the secondary, the nickelback, the closest man to it. It'll be field goal time at a 37-yard try.
And Burnett right up the gut. They love putting the linebackers up at the line of scrimmage. Look at Kevin Burnett just run right by Harvey Dahl and forced Sam Bradford almost into a mistake. Sam turned back and threw that back against the grain to the middle of the field. Lucky it wasn't intercepted.
This is the side that Zerline missed his first career kick. It was from 52, a 37-yard try.
Miami, a 30-second timeout.
Dolphins trying to ice a kicker in 80-degree weather.
It's all right. Make him think a little bit. He just had his first miss. How is he from the neck up?
His nickname's Legatron, Greg the Leg. I like Young Jeezy. But he says, Tim, the 6th-round draft pick from Missouri Western State, that he kicks every ball with the same ferociousness, whether it's a 37-yarder or a 57-yarder.
Yeah, he knows his stroke. What I like about him is he lifts with linemen.
That's where the strength goes all the way from the upper body into the leg.
You get a kicker hanging out with the defensive lineman, as Kevin Butler did with us in Chicago when he was our kicker for so many years. It's nothing but a good thing.
After 15 in a row to start his career, he missed from 52. This will get the Rams within a point. The kick. No.
I told you, you're not going to find out about your rookie kicker until you see how he responds after his first miss.
Whatever you want to nickname him, he's 0 for his last 2.
Yeah, I'll call him a rookie now. Forget Young Jeezy. And he just yanks this one right to the left. It looked like it wanted to bend back for him, but it didn't.
Now there is, the wind and the breeze, but the snap and hold, everything looked good.
Looked like he looked up right before his legs struck the football. It looked like he already had his eyes up in between the goalposts.
So 2 misses by Zerline, or the Rams might have the lead. Dolphins with a 10-6 advantage, and Miami will receive the football to start the second half. Hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. The Rams and the Dolphins from Miami. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt Menefee and the gang, so please stay tuned. Halftime festivities here in Miami, the Dolphin Ring of Honor, and there is Zach Thomas, the smallish linebacker, who made it big, and Jason Taylor, the Dolphins' all-time sack leader, both enshrined and honored here. Zach Thomas thanking Jimmy Johnson for the chance, and Jason Taylor and Zach thanking the fans of the Miami Dolphins for their support, joining some great players in the history of this great Dolphin franchise. Good to be back in Miami, and Jim Ryan, Chris Myers getting ready for the second half to begin. Greg Zuerlein, who came in without a miss, has missed 2 field goals. We figured it would be a field position game and a defensive struggle, and that's what it's been so far. Ryan Tannehill's touchdown pass to Marlon Moore, the difference.
Yeah, and that's really all that the Rams defense gave up. I thought they were outstanding in the first half. They gave up the one big play. Now, offensively for the Rams, you got to finish drives. They've got almost 300 yards of offense. They're 0 for 2 down in the red zone, and then they've hurt themselves. The big turnover, the costly turnover by Britt Miller on kickoff return, which led to 3 points, and then they really hurt themselves with penalties. 8 penalties, 60 yards in this game.
Sam Bradford will have his work cut out trying to rally his team. And the Rams ready to kick off. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Rams scored first, built a 6-0 lead before the Dolphins responded, and the fumble on the kickoff, the special teams miscue by Britt Miller and the Rams, turned the momentum and allowed Miami to take control of this game. Marcus Thigpen in his end zone. He came up with that fumble recovery, by the way. Looking for room, and he's across the 20. This is the best return of the day. Up there the 40-yard line before the kicker, Zuerlein, had to run him out of bounds. So the Dolphins set up with excellent field position, a 44-yard return.
And watch the block out here on the edge by R.J. Sanford. I mean, he's able to pin in Trumaine Johnson, it looked like, who's the contained player on the kickoff team. And it gets outside of him and almost to the 40-yard line.
Tannehill 11 of 15, 108 yards and the touchdown toss. Miami has not been able to run the football.
They don't even have 100 yards of offense, Chris, in this game. Give some credit to St. Louis defensively. They found their groove.
Reggie Bush cuts up to the 40 and is knocked down by Craig Dahl. Let's check in down on the field with Jamie Maggio. Jamie?
All right, thanks, Chris. I approached Jeff Fisher at the halftime. Before I even said anything, he looked at me, he goes, yeah, I know. 300 yards, 6 points. It doesn't make sense. He said what we need to do is translate the big plays into points. Now, as far as Joe Philbin, he said, look, they've been able to move the ball well because they're mixing up the run and pass. Hey, but we've been pretty good in the red zone.
Up tempo as Tannehill flips to Reggie Bush. Thanks, Jamie. And Reggie's in the clear, spinning near a first down. Reggie Bush already with 3 catches in the game.
That's a nice play call by Mike Sherman, because here comes the pass rush, and Chris Long and all the guys up on the inside. Kendall Langford, what do you do to slow down a pass rush? Throw screen passes. He did to Reggie Bush there and was enough for a first down.
After the 9-yard pickup from the 49 of Miami.
Go!
Tannehill throws the other way to Jaworski Land, the fullback, who just won't go down. Another Texas A&M Aggie.
And he plays quite a bit now. When you look at Miami without a real number 3 receiver, and we saw Marlon Moore get in the mix today with his first catch and his first touchdown as a Dolphin. They play with a lot more fullback on the field, and Jaworski Lane's been that guy.
Crisp opening drive of the second half for the Dolphins, protecting a 4-point lead. Open, Fasano. Portland Finnegan, haven't called his name much, but he was right there to make the tackle. It's another fresh set of downs for Miami, marching to the Ram 36. And Bradley Fletcher, who was injured in the first half, is back out there for the Rams.
I'll tell you, the beauty of Ryan Tannehill as a rookie is he just doesn't miss in terms of when he sees an opening in the coverage or avoiding the coverage. Every time there has been a little bust coverage-wise by the Rams defense, Tannehill has exploited it with his arm.
Go!
Reggie Bush with the carry. Can't get much. Kendall Langford, the former Dolphin, up front, the only non-first round pick of that front line making the stop.
Chris, you were talking about Reggie Bush earlier, and you know how the knee has slowed him down over the last couple of games, and admittedly so from Reggie. He talked about that, but he said, you know, the great players in this league, not only do they play hurt, which I know I have to do, but you have to be successful hurt, which is his ambition here with his knee injury.
And they fake it to Reggie, and back to Lane to the 30-yard line. Reggie Bush, who is a free agent at the end of this year, has made it clear he wants to stay in Miami. As he said, hey, why leave now? We're building something good with Tannehill. Also to be a father soon. Excited about that. We congratulate Reggie on that.
What up? What up?
And he stays in on 3rd and 4.
55 lead. Watch the green down, Richard. Yeah. Yeah.
Knocked away and incomplete. Hartline gets the flag.
Looked like Bradley Fletcher just pulled him with his backhand around the waist. You can put your hand on the back or on the waist of the receiver, but you can't material affect him, which means you can't pull him with that arm.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 32. Spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
And it's all good with his left hand on the back of Brian Hartline, but as soon as he grabs and tugs, it ends up being a pass interference call.
Rams with 9 penalties. Tannehill knew it was a pass interference. Lamar Miller, rookie from the University of Miami, checks in the 11th play of the drive.
Watch Fasano down the middle on Laurinaitis, right there.
From the 19, Devon Best is knocked down right away. Brian Hartline has not made a catch yet, although he had that penalty. He came in with over 500 receiving yards, which is among the best for any NFL or any Dolphin receiver in a 5-game mark. And here having to go to Devon Best, who has 4 catches.
Yeah, and Devon's been stepping it up over the last couple of games. Hartline's been a surprise to them. Remember, he didn't do anything in the offseason because of his appendicitis, then had a calf injury in training camp. They didn't know what they had in that dude. I've been excited what he's done in the first 5 games.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
John Jerry, the right guard, called for a false start.
You know Joe Philbin doesn't show it, but I promise you, these pre-snap penalties, they are in his craw because he is a stickler for details.
Maybe one of the most detailed coach. And they miss him in Green Bay, I can tell you that. From the 24-yard line. Tannehill after the fake, flips to Reggie Bush, who's got room to run. And slips all the way to the 15-yard line.
Well, watch a little play action fake. There's Reggie with Fasano in the backfield. Looks like they're going to stay in for protection. Little fake there, and now just a little flip right there to Reggie Bush. And the rest is all Reggie in the open field. You can see where Reggie starts to think, well, I'm going to find some running room and go east and west. And then he clears up his thought process and says, put my foot in the ground and go north and south.
From just across the 15-yard line. Quick pass. That's Reggie Bush. And knocked down inside the 1. It'll be first and goal, Dolphins.
Well, a beautiful call against the inside pressure. Dunbar's going to come right up there. You're going to see 58 come in between the center and the guard. There's nobody to block him. It's a little middle screen set up to Reggie Bush. Gets some nice blocks down the middle of the field, in particular by Pouncey on James Laurinaitis and down to the 1-yard line. Very, very good play call by Mike Sherman, the offensive coordinator.
And you said it, only 12 catches coming in, but Reggie already has 5 receptions, and he's splitting out to the left. And Tannehill, Fasano, touchdown Miami. Dolphins take the opening kick from the second half and march into the end zone.
Now you see what I mean by Tannehill doesn't miss when he's got a wide open guy. And that time both linebackers just sucked up into play action. There was nobody to cover Fasano.
Carpenter's extra point. Second touchdown catch of the year for Fasano, but the rookie Tannehill with 2 touchdown passes today. And the Dolphins lead 17-6. Tim Ryan, Jamie Maggio on the field, Chris Myers with you, and hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. Ram defense perspiring after a 44-yard kickoff return, and then Tannehill marches the Dolphins in with his second touchdown pass of the game.
I'll tell you just got to love that Ryan Tannehill, and I've said it, he doesn't miss the obvious one. And it's like, you know, so many coaches sit up in the press box and go, that's what we want. And they have a busted coverage, and young quarterbacks don't see it. Ryan Tannehill hasn't missed it. 7 of 8 on that drive.
And it's only the 6th game of Tannehill's career, but people are already saying he's the second best quarterback in the division in the AFC East. Carpenter hits.
Oh, you're going to pile on Sanchez too?
No, I'm complimenting Tannehill.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm more the positive guy. I root for someone rather than against, unlike some folks in New York. Rams behind in the field position game and on the scoreboard. First down from the 20. Steven Jackson carries. They're 2 scores down, Tim Ryan, and Sam Bradford without Danny Amendola, his security blanket, his go-to guy, 38% of this Ram offense.
Well, I look, and I think for that reason, you got to continue to do with what worked in the first half, was pounding the run at the #1 run defense. And you said it, down 2 scores, 11 points, got almost a half a football left. We got to continue to stay committed to the run game with Steven Jackson and Daryl Richardson.
And Richardson checks into the game. He's the breakaway speed back, the 7th round draft pick from Abilene Christian on 2nd down 6. He gets it and a knockdown right away. Paul Soliai showed you why they were #1 against the run coming into the game.
It showed you Randy Starks in the first half and some of the plays that he was making at the line of scrimmage. This is part 2 of these defensive tackle monsters, and watch Soliai right there on Rob Turner, who has no chance to block it.
2-yard loss, so it's 3rd and 8. From the 22. Isaiah Peed, the rookie, checks in at running back with Steven Jackson.
Good to see Vernon back.
Here comes a flag. Back at the 45. Going to be against the Rams.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
10th penalty on the Rams. Trying to win on the road.
Look at big Soliai. Boom!
350 pounds. He barely got that leg up.
Oh no, he's more nimble than you think, Chris. A 350-pound athlete.
Blitz. Bradford. Steven Jackson. And Steven Jackson up near the 40 with a clutch 3rd down play, giving the Rams a fresh set of downs.
What a veteran play by Steven Jackson, understanding that Kevin Burnett, the linebacker, is just going to rush him to try to cover him. Steven's going to block and then release. Watch this. Block, 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 peel off, wide open for an outlet for Sam Bradford for a big first down.
A 22-yard gain.
And that's just smart, because Miami does a lot of that where they rush to cover with their linebackers. They'll rush a running back to cover them. Steven knew it and was able to peel off and release.
Jackson's first catch of the game from the 39-yard line. That's Daryl Richardson. Play that he strung loose for 44 yards in the first half. Let's check on the Cowboys and Ravens and Patrick O'Neill.
Yeah, after a Cowboys field goal, they kick off to the Ravens. Jacoby Jones, they just failed to tackle him. 108-yard kickoff return, tying an NFL record shared with Ellis Hobbs and Randall Cobb. It's 24-13. Ravens over the Cowboys. Baltimore looking to go 5-1. Chris and Tim, back to you.
Thanks, Patrick. Cowboys trying to get a game over 500. Dolphins trying to get to 500. And the Rams trying to win 3 in a row for the first time since 2006. Pass caught by Kendricks. He's knocked down right away. Chris Clemens up from his safety spot.
Well, and Sam Bradford has had problems against pressure really in his whole career. This is year 3 for him as the St. Louis quarterback. And he's going to end up having to unload this at the last minute because he's got 2 linebackers right up in his face. He gets the completion, but they're still in a 3rd and 5 situation.
Olivier Vernon, who was injured in the first half, is back in, had a sack in the first half of this game. Here comes the blitz. And Bradford goes down. The ball is out. And the Dolphins have it. Jared Odrick jumped on it.
Chris, what an unbelievable play by Cameron Wake. Unbelievable. And I talked about it. How are they going to help against Cameron Wake? Look at his balance as he goes to the ground. Pops up quick as a cat and gets a sack and a forced fumble. I said it. How are you going to help Barry Richardson on this sack specialist, Cameron Wake? And they chose not to help him there with a tight end or a running back, and Cameron Wake made him pay for it.
His second sack of the game. He's got 7.5 for the year, and he came in leading the NFL also in most quarterback pressures, just ahead of Chris Long of the Rams. So Miami has the football on the turnover, and it is being reviewed by the officials. Each turnover is automatically reviewed, and one of the most controversial plays, the tuck rule, going back to Tom Brady and the Raiders, may be the issue here on the sack fumble that Miami recovered. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, we welcome in our rules analyst from the Fox Command Center, Mike Pereira. Mike, your view of this?
I think it's a tuck rule. I think you go back to that. Hand starts forward, trying to bring it back to his body. Ball comes loose before he tucks it into his body and becomes a runner. So to me, if I'm under the hood, I reverse this to an incomplete pass on the infamous tuck rule.
And a classic definition, just watching that play of the tuck rule, Mike. I mean, not a lot of times you get to see it, but this is really a classic tuck rule call and review here, I think.
There's the shot showing there with the ball comes loose even before he gets it tucked back into his body is the one. Now they got to look, and of course they ruled it a fumble and a recovery by the defense, so they got to go set up and get the right down and distance. They got to reset the game clock to as soon as the ball hits the ground. All of that has to do if they reverse this to an incomplete pass, which I think they will.
Gene Steratore after taking a closer look.
After review, the quarterback's arm is moving forward. It is a tuck by rule. It's an incomplete forward pass. It will be St. Louis's ball on their 44-yard line, the hash mark nearest Miami's bench. The game clock should be set to 5 minutes, 35 seconds, and it will be 4th down and 5.
Yeah.
An excellent clarification, and Mike Pereira, thank you for your help. I know Dolphin fans say, can we do away with that tuck rule? John Gruden said the same thing many years ago.
Yeah, and I think Joe Philbin was just thinking about the same thing. He can't understand it, but Mike's right. I mean, it's absolutely a tuck rule and the right call, and Gene Steratore does not miss much. He was right on the money there.
Johnny Hecker back to punt. The only argument I guess a Dolphin fan or Philbin could say was as he brought the ball back, it hit the helmet and came loose, but Mike Pereira pointed that out. And the officials reviewed it.
Arm was still moving forward, never tucked it to his body.
Devon Best will let the kick go. And does it reach the end zone? Yes. So a break for the Dolphins. Their defense does its job, but the rookie Hecker kicks a 56-yarder. Miami has the ball from their 20. I don't think Gene Steratore is talking about his pension with Joe Philbin.
No, he's not. He's talking about the tuck rule, and Joe Philbin's like, but
the rule, how do you...
Coach Philbin, I got John Gruden's number. You can call him. You can commiserate.
Bottom line is the Dolphin defense holds, no takeaway. Pass is low and incomplete for Charles Clay.
Tell you one thing, the Miami Dolphins have done a better job of it, and Joe Philbin stressed it in our meetings with him the other day, is the negative runs. And look at last week. They had 10 of them in that game against Cincinnati, and that didn't even count the quarterback taking his kneel downs. There was 3 of those. Reggie Bush had 7 negative runs in that game against Cincinnati, only 3 today by the Miami Dolphin offense.
And when we talked to Reggie, he took responsibility for that. Charles Clay on the catch and some tough running to get near a first down, just a little bit short of the 29-yard line. Reggie said, hey, some of that's on me. I got to make sure, no matter what happens, that we don't have the negative yardage. Joe Philbin also told his team this week, the offensive line, this is a game you have to step up, whether it's the negative runs or protecting the rookie quarterback. On 3rd and 2, Reggie splits as a wide receiver. Top of your screen. Through the hands of Reggie Bush. And it'll be 4th down for Miami. Tannehill ripped that ball.
Well, they had something too. If that ball would have been lower, Reggie probably should have caught it. But if it would have been a little better ball location, Reggie had a block and had a nice crease set up against the Ram defense. Could have hit him for a big gain.
The rookie Janoris Jenkins back to take the punt of Brandon Fields, his 4th boot of the game.
Yeah, he's been booting pretty good. Look at those numbers: 53, 58, and 63.
The kicking game has come into play. A couple of missed Greg Zuerlein field goals, or things would be a little bit closer here.
Let's see if they got a full-blown block here. No one on the gunners.
He gets it away. And Jenkins from inside his 20. Slips the tackle and goes down. Sam Bradford, after a 53-yard punt, will try and rally the Rams, trailing 17-6. The NFL on Fox from Miami, FLA. Tim Ryan and Chris Myers and the Rams with a 1st and 10 from their own 23, trailing by 11. Darrell Richardson takes the pitch and slips, gets up, picks up maybe a yard or 2. The question coming in with Danny Amendola out injured, who would step up in the receiver spot? Steve Smith started in the slot.
Well, Danny had 32 catches after the first 5 games, and next closest guy was 13. Those are the 2 guys that have to really supplement Danny Amendola because they're slot players, and that's where Danny Amendola is at his best. Steve Smith, I don't know. I mean, we've been hearing it for a couple of years that was the Pro Bowl guy, over 100 catches, set records with the Giants, can still do it out of the slot. Chris, I haven't seen it.
Bradford's throw here is caught for a first down, and Brandon Gibson gets up near the 40-yard line. And Danny Amendola ahead of schedule, at least based on the shoulder and clavicle injury. They believe after the bye week at San Francisco, they're likely to get Amendola back, along with center Scott Wells and Roger Saffold, left tackle, who's been hurt. So that will help the Rams if they can hang in there. It makes this game all that more important. They have the Packers up next and then the Patriots over in London.
I tell you what, it's going to be interesting when Roger Saffold comes back, if he immediately goes back into the starting lineup, because I'll tell you, the last 2 games, Wayne Hunter has played pretty good out there.
Bradford has it. Pass is caught by the backup tight end Mulligan, who falls near the midfield. Let's head down to the field. Jamie Maggio.
All right, thanks, Chris. You know, I spoke with head coach Jeff Fisher about Danny Amendola. He said good news was there's no break. That would have put him out of the game for 6 to 8 weeks. Here are his issues, though. He's having issues with range of motion and pain, but Jeff Fisher did say we expect him back, quote-unquote, sooner than later. They're thinking he might be back as early as the San Francisco game. That's 3 weeks from now.
Thank you, Jamie. After a 9-yard pickup, 2nd down 1.
Right into the teeth of the pressure, and they get it.
Richardson fights for the first down, battling Carlos Dansby. Dansby, the Dolphin leading tackler coming into this game.
I tell you, that's the thing about Darrell Richardson now, and a 7th-round pick. We've seen his burst out on the outside, out on the edge. I'm not going out on a limb. He's their best inside runner in between the tackles, better than Steven Jackson, believe it or not. He just showed you why as he ran through a tackle from Carlos Dansby.
And their best breakaway runner as well.
Turn.
1st and 10 from midfield. Richardson. I think he ran into his own man who wasn't able to move. Richardson had 83 yards rushing in week 2 in the win against Washington. That's the season high for a Ram running back this year. He goes out. Jackson comes in. 1:40 to go here in the third quarter. Rams have been kept out of the end zone.
I'm surprised the running backs haven't had more catches in this game when you think about it. No Danny Amendola. Both of those guys, especially Steven Jackson, good receiving threat out of the backfield.
Dolphins blitz. Bradford throws. Is caught. And Givens lost the football. Jason Trusnick, the backup linebacker, has it.
The ruling on the field is catch, fumble recovered by Miami. First down.
Let me tell you, Sean Smith, second week in a row, if this stands, has forced a fumble, and that's the length of the 6'3" corner and those long arms. I don't know, was the left knee down though before that ball popped out? That's the question you got to ask yourself. We'll get a good look at it here. There's those long arms. No, he lost it himself. He actually bumped it out himself before Sean Smith hit him.
Sean Smith.
Yeah, his right knee popped the ball out before he was down. He forced his own fumble.
An automatic booth review on the turnover. The Rams escaped on the tuck rule, but this looks like Miami has the football. Again, Jason Trusnick came up, number 93, with the loose football after Sean Smith was there with the rookie Chris Givens.
Now watch as his right leg accelerates up into his hand and into the football, and that jars it loose.
Rams have been sloppy with the football. That special teams miscue, the fumble by Britt Miller.
And as you know, the hand is not down. The hand's down before the ball comes out, but the hand down by itself does not equate to being down.
Jeff Fisher's team has not won on the road this year. Meanwhile, the Dolphin defense giving the Rams all they can handle. The halftime ceremony, Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor honored here. It's the 40-year anniversary, by the way, of that perfect season of the Miami Dolphins. A time in South Florida when Ralph Rennick was anchoring the evening news. Saw Bernie Rosen, the iconic sports director who, in terms of local sports and coverage, really set the standard. And Dolphin fans have reason to cheer again with the arrival of Ryan Tannehill and a suffocating defense.
I think better than expected when you look at what they've been able to achieve this year. And again, could be 4-1 coming into this game. I think the question you got to ask yourself, if you're Gene Steratore, is was this a catch before it was a fumble? He's got the ball, both feet are down, he starts a football move. That is clearly a catch, in my opinion, and a fumble.
I would agree, and as you pointed out, it looked like it was coming out even before Sean Smith got there.
Absolutely was. It was the right knee by Givens as he accelerated up right there to turn and make that football move, which is really what forced the football out.
Dolphins started the season with a tough loss at Houston, and they beat the Raiders. Overtime loss to the Jets. Overtime loss at Arizona. And then last week defeating the Bengals in Cincinnati and trying to get to 3-3.
I'll tell you, Jeff Fisher's got to be out of his mind right now when you think about what they've done offensively, all the yards, defensively shutting them down in terms of yards and only having 6 points to show for it, and consistently have self-destructed with their own mistakes, penalties, and turnovers.
After further review, was the knee down? Is it a fumble and recovery ruled on the field in favor of Miami? Let's check.
After review, receiver did not maintain possession and create a second half. Therefore, it is an incomplete forward pass. It will be St. Louis's ball, 3rd and 9. On the Miami 49-yard line, the ball will be placed on the hash mark near the Miami hash.
A break for the Rams. No turnover.
And Gene's rarely wrong. I think he's wrong on this one, because to me that looks like a catch. He's got both feet down. He started to make a football move, turn up the field and run, and then the ball popped out.
They do review it in both the live action speed as well as slowing it down.
With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock for 1 minute and 15 seconds. 1 minute, 15 seconds on the game clock, please.
So it is 3rd and 9. Rams keep the football with 1:15 to go here in the third. An important 3rd down for Sam Bradford. Batted and incomplete. Getting his arms up with Jared Odrick, who had a fumble recovery earlier, or at least he thought he did, on the tuck rule.
Well, they come with pressure, which Jared Odrick knows the ball is going to have to come out relatively quick and into the underneath passing patterns. And he reads the quarterback. And a lot of the good defensive linemen, when they're not getting pressure, they know they're not going to get there, and they know to adjust on the quarterback and just get their hands up in the throwing lane and have an impact on the play.
3rd punt of the game for Hecker. Devon Best watches it, see if he can stick it inside the 5. And right at the 5. Downing it was Rodney McLeod after a 44-yard punt. Coming up, Foxtoberfest continues. Second part of our NFL Sunday doubleheader. Most will see the Giants and 49ers. Joe Buck will call that one at Candlestick Park, and then he'll hustle across town for the National League Championship Series Game 1 as the Cardinals take on the Giants. He'll call that with Tim McCarver. See who heads on to the World Series in that best-of-7 clash. So no need to go anywhere. Just leave it on Fox.
How's Joe going to do that? Has he got a helicopter or something that's flying him from?
I think he's got one of those bicycle, you know, those little guys that carriage there. They'll probably go across in a rowboat or something, like they do.
Those big currents can push you in the wrong direction.
Reggie Bush with some tough running yards. In games where Ryan Tannehill has won as a rookie, the 2 wins, no turnovers, and so far no miscues.
Well, and a real opportunity, I believe, for the Rams defense based on field position and to keep Miami pinned back. Miami came out in the start of the 3rd quarter and just a grinding long drive that culminated with a touchdown. St. Louis has got to get a stop here and win the field position game, get the ball back to their offense with a good spot in a good spot on the field.
Go! Pass is incomplete through the hands of Brian Hartline, and there is a flag.
Roughing the passer. Defense below the quarterback's head, number 91. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
The call against Chris Long.
There he is at left end, and he puts a blow to the quarterback's head. Oh, that's... look, it doesn't always get called. It's a discretion call. You can put your hands on the helmet of the quarterback. If it's nothing with typically some type of intense force, they can let that go. And they called Chris Long on that one.
50 Rocco.
Miami took Jake Long after considering Chris Long, remember, as the first overall choice back in 2008.
Chris, there used to be no discretion on him.
Oh, the ball is out. Tannehill hit from behind, and the ruling on the field is, as Jolon Dunbar came in, incomplete.
Will be Miami's ball, 2nd down at the spot, the backward pass.
Backward pass.
Yeah, Jolon Dunbar coming off on pressure from his linebacker position, unblocked. Puts his helmet right in the nameplate that says Tannehill on the back of the jersey, and you could see the arm was coming forward, so it ended up being a backward pass. But back to the call on Chris Long. It used to be you touch the quarterback in the helmet, it is automatically a rough. You can't do it. The official now has discretion whether or not he's going to call that or not based on the force of the defensive player hitting the helmet of the quarterback.
Tannehill letting it run out here in the 3rd quarter. A defensive struggle, and the Dolphins, with 2 touchdown passes from their rookie quarterback and a suffocating defense, have the upper hand as we go to the 4th quarter here in Miami. You're watching the NFL on Fox. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers. Start of the 4th quarter here in South Florida. 2 teams with the arrow pointing upward, trying to make a point. The Dolphins have made the most of it, but numbers, Tim, they don't tell you everything. Dolphins 151 yards total offense, and they lead the Rams, who have 351 yards.
Yeah, and the Rams have certainly hurt themselves with penalties, with missed field goals. They have been their own worst enemy today. They have moved the ball and stopped it defensively pretty darn well.
Second and 27. The Ram defense does its job. It'll force a third down, batted down by Kendall Langford.
I think we've seen a lot of batted balls today because the ball's coming out relatively quick and the quarterbacks are delivering it from the pocket. And defensive tackles know that. When you get on the edge of an offensive guard and you're trying to rush the passer and you realize this ball's coming out quick and I'm not going to get there on the sack, I'm going to get my hands up and try to get a bat down and be a positive factor in another way.
Dolphins hope to get some room for their punter here. Tannehill's going to run it. And go down just short of the 20-yard line. So Brandon Fields will have a little bit more room. Tannehill 19 out of 27. The 2 touchdown tosses. Bradford has thrown for over 200.
They've been, like I said, they've been able to move the ball. I'll be very surprised if they try to turn up a block here and really risk getting a penalty, which is going to give the ball back to the Miami Dolphins. They're going to play return and play the field position game and just hope their offense can execute.
With no Danny Amendola, it's been Janoris Jenkins, the rookie, who returned punts in college. Back there for the Rams.
Well, this one's got a chance now. No hang time.
Bounces around the 40, and Jenkins jumps on it. So good field position for the Rams, who have had their share of difficulty in terms of field.
That's another rookie mistake in my mind by Janoris Jenkins. This ball's not really going to go anywhere further. Don't even give it an opportunity.
So a 1st and 10 from their own 38. They're checking the left arm of Ryan Tannehill, the Dolphins rookie quarterback who's thrown a couple of touchdowns. Bradford completes. Steven Jackson falls short of the 44-yard line. Well, if you're just tuning in, we anticipated a defensive struggle, and that's what it's been. The Rams have run the ball well. They've outgained, and they've held the ball more in possession time. But 11 penalties against the Rams, 2 missed field goals by their stud rookie kicker, Greg Zuerlein. And Tannehill's touchdown tosses. Miami's defense has been tough when they had to be, and that's why they have an 11-point lead. Jackson has a first down. The Rams, Tim Ryan, have suffered a lot of missed opportunities.
No question. As you said, they've moved the ball. They've had their chances. And there's a sack. Sam Bradford holding on to it too long. Down in the red zone, they missed fire. Here's another sack down in position to get some points with Olivier Vernon and there as well. And then those led to field goal attempts. And then in turn led to field goal misses by Greg Zuerlein.
52 and then 37 yards, the first 2 misses of his pro career. Jackson committing to the run, and the momentum shifted. The Rams had an early 6-0 lead on a squib kick after a penalty by Dan Carpenter that Britt Miller tipped and then fumbled. Miami, Marcus Thigpen recovered, and that's when it shifted.
That was definitely the turning point. I agree with you.
And some tough calls, some that have gone against Miami, a tuck rule, and a fumble that was reversed. Now 2nd and 8.
What's it on? Adam? Adam?
The tight end, Mulligan, short of the first down. Bradford getting hit.
Well, you're going to have to hold the ball in this league knowing you're going to get hit and still deliver it. And Koamisi just puts the shoulder pad right on the ribs of Sam Bradford and takes him to the ground. But the good ones, they have to, Chris. I mean, there's a lot of times you saw there his first read was covered. He had to wait for someone to uncover, knowing he was going to get hit, stood in there and tall and still unloaded it for a positive gain.
Rams are 3 for 10 on 3rd down. They need 2 yards here. This may be 4-down territory. Bradford has it for Jackson, incomplete. And now what do you do?
I think you go for it. I think it is 4-down territory if you're Jeff Fisher.
That was a strange call on 3rd and 2.
Well, I like the call, actually. It was just a good defensive play by Sean Smith defensively of hitting the running back, Britt Miller, on his way out, because that was the first read for Sam Bradford.
Darrell Richardson checks in. They need 2 on 4th down.
This is where Danny Amendola is the playmaker for the Rams.
Pass for Gibson, and what a good grab. Showing good hands to the 35 against Nolan Cromwell. He gets the first down.
Well, 3 really good things on this play. They know it's man coverage, so a double slant. And then you see Wayne Hunter, the left tackle, chop down the defensive end right there, get him off his feet, and open the throwing lane for Sam Bradford, who throws a strike.
How'd you like that Nolan Cromwell reference? Once a Ram, always a Ram, right? Anyway, the Rams are moving the football. They're down 2 scores. Rain starting to fall. The clouds are rolling in. Thunderstorms in the area. A screen. That's Richardson, who can fly. He might go down that sideline. No. Inside the 10, down by the 7 before Rashad Jones hung in there to keep him from getting to the end zone.
Well, he just looks faster than everyone else because Jason Trusnick, number 93 for Miami, actually plays it pretty good as you see him there, but there's no way he's going to stay up with Daryl Richardson.
Well, you said the back should be thrown to more, and that was a 26-yard pickup. Richardson earlier in the game had a 44-yard run. So it's 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. Joe Philbin wants a timeout. Dolphins will have 2 remaining in this half. Miami leads at 17-6, but the Rams are knocking on the door, and the rain is falling. The officials trying to keep the football as dry as they can. It's rained off and on all day, and more thunderstorms in the area. 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. The Rams are the only team in the NFL this season who do not have a rushing touchdown. Bradford keeps, and Sam Bradford knocked down at the 2-yard line by Dansby.
Carlos Dansby is so intelligent and so many years in pro football. Watch what he does to the running back here, Daryl Richardson. There's a 5-yard chuck zone. You can hit that guy within 5 yards. Going to eliminate him. Bang. He's now out of the route, and then he's going to sit back in his height and make the tackle at about the 3-yard line. Dansby has been destroying the running backs and tight ends in that 5-yard chuck zone most of the day.
Put down at the 3, 2nd and goal. Richardson the back with Britt Miller, the fullback. It is Richardson. It'll be 3rd and goal, and there's Dansby again.
Yeah, they try to block Carlos Dansby with a backside offensive tackle, Wayne Hunter. There's no chance. You got no chance if you're Wayne Hunter right here to block that guy, Carlos Dansby, before he gets in the backfield.
From just beyond the 2-yard line, it's 3rd and goal. Bradford caught. They have not given him the score. That's Brian Quick.
Boy, it looked like from up here that ball was across the plane once he caught it in his hands.
That's what Bradford is arguing, Tim.
Absolutely. This would be a great look at it right here. Here's the rookie. Bang, right to him. And the feet get into the end zone, but Sean Smith, with that length again and those long arms, looked like he kept the ball from ever crossing the plane.
St. Louis is challenging the ruling of down by contact short of the goal line. Timeout.
Our first challenge of the game, and Jeff Fisher rolling the dice, hoping to get a touchdown out of it. If not, he has a big 4th down decision to make. Did he get in? We're all going to take a closer look.
Today's game is sponsored by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T. Rethink possible.
Rain falling here. Ruling on the field is catch, but no touchdown.
Yeah, and what a terrific job by Sean Smith. And the ball did not look like it ever crossed the plane of the goal line, certainly not from up top. Now, maybe when Quick pulled it down, it's going to be hard to tell if they got a definitive look Enough of a look to
After
overturn it.
review, the ruling on the field stands. Short of the goal line. Fourth down, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Important, Tim, because you lose the challenge, but the Rams lose a timeout. They have 2 remaining in a tight game.
And I go for it right here. I don't even think 11 points, as you said, and you've just lost a timeout. I mean, if you're back on the 10-yard line or you're not that close, you kick the field goal and count on your defense to give you the ball back again. But down here, I think you got to punch it in if you're Jeff Fisher.
And the Rams are going for it. It's a 2-score game on 4th and goal. Remember, no rushing touchdowns for the Rams this season.
Well, my question is, are you even going to think about running it up inside at those 2 defensive tackles, Paul Soliai and Randy Starks?
Brandon Gibson to the left. Chris Gibbons, the receiver. And Bradford keeps. Touchdown, Rams! Sam Bradford with the first rushing touchdown in week 6. And the Rams are going to go for 2.
Yeah, you have to go for 2. Down 5. That's absolutely the right call. Sam Bradford just up over his right guard. Look at Carlos Dansby up on his back, and the rest of the guys are ripping the ball out. All for naught, though. It looked like that ball had crossed the plane. Instantly a touchdown once it goes over. Couldn't get a good look at it. Couldn't get a good look at it there, but it looked like.
Yeah, you can't challenge this if you're Miami because the scoring plays are automatically reviewed, whether they're confirmed or however you want to phrase that upstairs, but looked like
he had crossed the plane before the ball came out of his hand.
And then he got it back.
Well, so upstairs told them they need to go review it. They didn't confirm it, so Gene Steratore is going to go over under the hood. The question is did he lose possession, Chris, of the football before it crossed the plane of the goal line?
It looked like he got the ball back as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a touchdown.
It's been an unusual game in terms of some of the calls. Bradford's head just gets snapped back.
Look at his helmet.
Dansby.
Look at Carlos Dansby. Bradford's got 245 pounds sitting right on his forehead.
Bradford turning
and look at his head straight backwards, bent over backwards, legs underneath him.
Got to be a contortionist to play in the NFL. Mike Pereira joining us from the Fox Command Center, our rules analyst. Mike, your view of this one? Our former head of NFL officials, Mike Pereira, watching along with us. All scoring plays automatically reviewed to be confirmed. It would be tough to reverse that because the ruling on the field is touchdown.
Right.
You know, for 2 teams that are fighting so hard to go forward here, every call has had a major impact, and we do have Mike Pereira. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I was just saying, you know, you guys have had a couple of tough plays. You know, to me, I think this ball is very close to breaking the plane before he loses possession. Then he regains possession. I think you got to stay here with the touchdown call.
That's what the Rams are hoping for. Let's take a view down at the goal line, and there he has it. See, he gets the ball back.
Reestablished possession.
That's a touchdown
on the back of the defender. Yeah, that is a touchdown. How about the job by Sam Bradford, though, to reestablish possession of the football with his hands while Dansby was about to rip his head off, and he knows it.
And at 6'4" and 240, Sam will take a beating if he gets the score. 8:30 to go here in regulation. Rams lose a timeout and a challenge on the pass to Brian Quick. But Jeff Fisher didn't hesitate, going for it on 4th down. See if the touchdown is confirmed by the booth upstairs.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It is a touchdown, St. Louis.
We thank Gene Steratore and Mike Pereira.
And how would you ever think this? First rushing touchdown on the season for the St. Louis Rams by their quarterback, Sam Bradford.
Not on a team with Steven Jackson and a rising rookie like Daryl Richardson. But now the all-important 2-point conversion. You want to get to within a field goal, and Philbin saying, hey, defense, I need you here. Rams cap a 62-yard drive with 11 plays, had to go for it on 4th down twice. if he can turn the corner, throws, and did Steven Jackson hold on? Yes! A two-point conversion, and the mobility of Sam Bradford made it happen.
How about the patience of Sam Bradford? I don't know about all that mobility, Chris, because Cameron Wake was closing the gap on him. But how about the presence of mind to the outside and the touch just to loft it up to Steven Jackson, who stays alive on the route. See, Cameron Wake is bearing down on him. Just a little lob throw to Steven Jackson.
We have a three-point game here in the fourth quarter. The things an NFL quarterback has to do to win or bring his team back. Sam Bradford, 2 career fourth-quarter comebacks for the Rams, one this year against the Redskins.
I'll be calling him the rubber band man from now on.
And Zerline, who has missed 2 field goals, kicking off. It's 17-14 Dolphins. No return from Marcus Thigpen. Each team with 2 timeouts. Coming up on Fox, our Foxtoberfest continues. Second part of our NFL Sunday doubleheader. The Giants and 49ers. Some will see the Vikings and the Redskins. And after that, Joe Buckley will call that game, the 49er game at Candlestick Park. With Troy Aikman, will then head across town for the Giants-Cardinals opener. Game 1 of the NLCS with Tim McCarver. And a fired-up Sam Bradford winning in St. Louis. Something he's trying to help the Rams do, win their 3rd straight. Tannehill. The slide go out of bounds. You know, when it was raining in the pregame, everybody ran for cover in the tunnel, but Sam Bradford stayed out in the heavy rain to throw the football. I talked to Tannehill, and he said, I'm used to these South Florida showers. They come, they go, so I'm used to a wet football.
Good, to me, illustration right there of how smart Ryan Tannehill is as a rookie quarterback on that bootleg. Easily could have went out of bounds. Decided to slide inbounds, keep chewing up that clock.
Go, go! Reggie Bush near the first down marker. Clock continues to run.
I think Miami needs to stay at this point with what's worked for him in the second half here, which is Reggie Bush running the ball, and then really the running backs and the slot receivers in the middle of the field versus the underneath coverage. I mean, just take short shots. No reason, if you're Ryan Tannehill, to put this ball up deep.
And a wet football is tough to hang on to. 3rd and inches, an important 3rd down. Tannehill gets the first down. So both quarterbacks taking the ball and the game in their own hands. Rams have 2 timeouts remaining. Dolphins also have 2 timeouts. Reggie Bush has run the ball 8 times. He's also caught 5 passes.
Surprised we didn't see more of Lamar Miller in this game today, Chris, with Daniel Thomas being inactive, the second running back.
Pass to Devon Betts near the first down marker across the 40-yard line, and he does stay in bounds.
And that's what I'm talking about, the short underneath throws to just keep moving the chains and chewing up the clock, and the reward is worth more, in my opinion, than the risk of trying to put one up deep if you're Ryan Tannehill.
Second and 1. That's part of that detail you were talking about with Coach Philbin getting to his players.
And you said it earlier, Ryan Tannehill, in the games that he's won, no turnovers. In the game that he's lost, 7 turnovers.
Miami with a 2-3 record. Rams 3-2. Go, go! Reggie Bush. And they'll fight hard, but be short. James Laurinaitis, the Rams' leading tackler, would not let him get away.
Well, let me tell you who started this play, though. It's Jolon Dunbar, who is undersized, but this is the back on the fullback block. So the fullback lane's coming right here. And watch where Jolon Dunbar meets him in the backfield. Bang, right down low. Forces Reggie Bush out to the side. And really reset and reestablish the line of scrimmage did Jolon Dunbar just by filling that gap at 100 miles an hour.
3rd and 1 in a 3-point game. Just over 5 minutes to play. A tipping point.
Hey, 258.
48! Go, go!
Reggie Bush. In the air. Joe Dunbar was right with him.
It'll be interesting to see where they spot this because Reggie's body was way past the first down stick, but it looked like the ball was behind it. Watch this cartwheel job. Finnegan underneath. Jolon Dunbar underneath. Reggie comes down, but was the football past the first down marker in the line to gain? I don't think it was.
We're going to have another close call for the officials because the spot, and you can challenge the spot if you're Joe Philbin in Miami. It's fourth down.
How about Reggie Bush with a knee injury and telling us the other day is the good backs got to play hurt, but the great backs have to be impact players when they're hurt. How about the fearlessness right there of Reggie Bush with a bad knee, cartwheeling through the air.
He did all he could to try and get that first down, but the Rams are going to get the football back. Unless Brandon Fields. There's a fake! And first down for the Dolphins. They snapped it to Chris Clemens.
You know how much that kills Jeff Fisher. You know how much that kills Jeff Fisher to get, for lack of a better word, out surprised by the opponent.
We should have been suspicious when Philbin didn't challenge the spot.
And they get the look they want. Look at the void right in the middle of the field. It's just the defense out there. It's the punt safe, which is not your kick return. You keep your defense out there just in case they want to run a fake. I think that was the linebacker in the middle of the field that missed Chris Clemens.
Go, go! Reggie Bush knocked down across the 45-yard line. Just over 3 minutes to play now. Miami protecting a 3-point lead. Chris Clemens taking the snap and powering forward on a gutsy call. Boy, if that doesn't work, the Rams are set up.
Well, the Rams actually, with their defense out there, were in good position to stop it. They just missed the tackle right in the hole at the line of scrimmage. But you know that bothers Jeff.
Oh, yeah, he's the special teams maven. He thought he would have something up his sleeve against the Dolphins today. Tannehill has it and throws to Devon Bess. He falls down short of the first down and stays in bounds. Let's get a game break and check in with Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. Most of you will see the second game of our NFL doubleheader, rematch of the NFC Championship game. Eli Manning and the Giants going against the 49ers. Coming up next, Joe, Troy, and Pam with the call, only on Fox. Chris and Tim, back to you.
Thanks, Patrick. Jeff Fisher doesn't want to lose any ground in the NFC West. Rams trying to go to 4-2 and win their third straight. Grab their first victory of the season on the road. The Rams used a timeout so that Miami could not let the clock run. They have one remaining, and it's 3rd down and 1 for the Dolphins.
Man, I was shocked at what you said earlier, that they have not won 3 consecutive games since 2006.
And for Joe Philbin, the guy who was hired after the Dolphin ownership missed on Jeff Fisher. He's trying to get Miami to 3-3.
Well, let's see if Miami can do it again. Only 37 yards rushing in this game, but 2 first downs via the run have come on this drive. Let's see if they can make it 3.
Go, go! Reggie Bush. It took a fake punt last time.
That's a great play by Quentin Michael off the edge. It really is.
And this should take us to the 2-minute warning.
And Quentin Michael looked like he knocked that ball out.
The Rams have trailed since the second quarter. Sam Bradford has led them back. Every yard counting. Miami with a 3-point lead. The last time on 4th and a yard from the Ram 49. Brandon Fields and Janoris Jenkins back to return.
And the Rams have got 8 at the line of scrimmage. See if they want to come after this, or they're going to end up trying to set up a return.
2 minutes to go. The Rams with 1 timeout. Fair catch called for, and there's there's a flag back at the 45-yard line, and Lance Kendricks has his helmet off, clapping his hands. I'm sorry, it wasn't Lance Kendricks. Kendall Langford. Rams are acting like the call is going against Miami. Otherwise, the Rams have the ball at the 5-yard line.
Prior to the kick, illegal use of the hands, hand to the face. Number 93 of the kicking team. 10-yard penalty, replay, 4th down.
The call is on Jason Trusnick.
There he is, playing right guard on the punt team. Oh, yeah.
That's Langford, whose helmet
Kendall's just standing there like, wait, whoa. That's a penalty, isn't it?
Took away. So they have to kick from now their own 41. And standing at his 11 is Jenkins. Set up for the return, but a nice boot from the 8-yard line, and he'll go down. Jimmy Wilson on the special teams play, a 51-yard boot and a 1-yard return. There's another flag down at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't on Josh Hull, who was holding Trusnick all the way down the field and then threw him. Look at, there's Trusnick right there. He was a guy who was guilty of the hands to the face. He just got absolutely wrestled to the ground by Josh Hull.
During the kick, holding number 56 of the return team. The penalty will be half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. 1st down, St. Louis.
It is on Josh Hull, Tim, as you said, so it takes him from the 9 all the way back to the 3-yard line.
Well, and he was holding on to him all the way. Right there is where he ends up throwing him down. But he was grabbed up and locked up on Trusnick all the way from the snap on the punt.
And the Rams have set a season high 12 penalties, 96 penalty yards. They have 1 timeout. Steve Smith with his first catch of the game.
Well, you're going to see Miami continue to pressure here because they're going to make Sam Bradford get the ball out quick and to the middle of the field. And that's where all the blitz beaters are. Let's see if they send pressure here. Only send 4.
That's Kendricks. Falls forward, and it is a 1st down for the Rams. They need 3 to tie. They've got a kicker who's made a 60-yarder, but going in this direction, he's already missed a 52 and a 37-yarder today. Wide open is Smith. He gets out of bounds wisely. It's another Ram 1st down. 2 4th-quarter comebacks in the career of Sam Bradford. And Greg Zuerlein, the rookie, dealing with his first misfortune as an NFL kicker today. Here they come. Blitz is on. Pass incomplete. It hits the receiver in the back. Brian Quick.
That's a rookie mistake. I think if you're Brian Quick, who is raw, hasn't played a lot, full blitz, off coverage, spin your head for the quarterback. He's running a stutter and go versus an all-out blitz. That's got no time to have the time to develop. That's a mental error by the rookie wide receiver at the most critical time in the game.
2nd and 10 from the 27-yard line. Again, just 1 timeout for the Rams. Sideline throw, Bradford. What an effort from Brandon Gibson. What a catch.
Unbelievable one-arm catch for Brandon Gibson. Does his whole body come down inbounds is the question I got, but this catch is amazing. One-handed, pulls it down, hips down, inbounds. That's a completed ball.
Automatic upstairs review under 2 minutes. A 22-yard gain, and the one-arm bandit sets the Rams up at their own 48.5-yard line.
Incredible catch.
Pass high for Gibson. Brandon Gibson goes out of bounds at the 45.
That's another terrific catch, Chris. I mean, that ball was on him in warp speed, and he was able to get his hands up above his helmet and just pluck it out of the air.
You mentioned how will the rookie respond after he misses a kick. What about two?
What's going through his head right now? And there's the line, and that's his season long for the years, where you see the red line right there at the 42-yard line.
He's made a 60-yard field goal. It would be 63 from where they are. Pass to Steven Jackson, who gains little. But Bradford was under pressure. Rams still have a timeout.
Sam Bradford has been terrific here in the back end of this game. A couple of those plays on the last drive, a couple of big fourth downs, and now in the biggest moment of the game, he's threading the needle.
So if you pick up 3, you're in the range of Zerline, except for today.
Daryl Richardson in the slot at the top of your screen. The running back.
Bradford goes down. You just can't do that. As Olivier Vernon, his second sack in his career.
Well, and valuable time is clicking off here. Jeff's already told him, I believe he's going to want to call a timeout based on looking at the clock. It's fourth down. It's going to have to be.
But what was Sam Bradford thinking?
Well, he's thinking he wants to get to Daryl Richardson, who's going to run a quick out route, and both of those wide receivers gloved up, just absolutely covered, and the same on the other side. But Sam Bradford's got to understand the situation and get rid of the football.
You were looking at a 63-yarder. All he had to do was throw it away.
He really had no chance. I mean, he stepped up in the pocket, and the left tackle, Wayne Hunter, beat to the inside by Olivier Vernon, who's had a whale of a football game today for Miami.
Well, we said it would be a field position game that might come down to the kickers. This is going to be a 66-yard try, which would be an NFL record.
Didn't Jeff Fisher tell us he's going to be the guy? He told us this week 1 that eventually breaks the record at 63 yards, and it won't be at altitude. Here's his first opportunity.
He's outdoors. He made a 56-yarder in Chicago at Soldier Field. Indoors in the same game, Greg Zerline made a 60 and 58-yarder NFL records. 63-yard field goals from Tom Dempsey to Jason Elam to Janikowski to David Akers. From 66 yards to tie. He missed in the same area. And the Dolphins hold on. The Rams fall to 3-3. And the Dolphins improve their records at 3-3. And Miami heads into the bye week. For Tim Ryan, I'm Chris Myers. Miami over the Rams, 17-14.